The OldPreMeds podcast, session number 163. You're a non-traditional student entering the medical field on your terms. You may have had some hiccups along the way, but now you're ready to change course and go back and serve others as a physician. This podcast is here to help answer your questions and help educate you on your non-traditional journey to becoming a physician. Welcome to the OldPreMeds podcast. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. I'm your host, Dr. Ryan Gray, and I take questions directly from the non-traditional pre-med forum over at premedforums.com. You can register for an account. It's free, it's easy, and you can ask your questions there. Today we have a great question from Lawrence R. Waters, that's the username on there, who's asking about career changes. They say, "Hi all, I've been doing my best to catch up over the last month or so since I've decided to make a go for it. I was wondering if anyone has heard of frequent or recent career changes being a concern for ADCOMs. I hate to post my life story, and I ask, what do you think my chances are? There have been several similar topics, but I feel like my situation might be a fresh new take. I'm halfway through physical therapy school right now. I didn't think I could get into medical school when I applied to go to PT school, and I thought I would be content and happy being a therapist. After doing an acute care clinical rotation in a CT ICU, I won't be happy unless I'm leading rounds and doing more for my patients than what I can do as a PT. And after doing some listening to the old pre-med podcasts, I think I have a shot with the right MCAT score. Recently, a coworker I confided in said he would be concerned that I'm halfway through a doctorate and I'm already trying to change careers, and that might look bad to the ADCOM. It'll be my fourth career change in 10 years. Undergrad mechanical engineering, 4 years as an infantry officer, and now halfway through PT school. I plan to finish my DPT and take the licensure exam. I've got a solid study plan from Next Step for the MCAT and will apply in this oncoming cycle if I meet my criteria for the MCAT score. I just had not considered to this point that finishing my DPT might not look great." All right, interesting question, and I think a really good question, something that a lot of current professionals have, whether they're healthcare professionals or not, have when they're still in the middle of what they're doing with the realization of, oh crap, like this isn't what I thought it was, this isn't what I need, this isn't going to scratch the itch of being in healthcare. I need to go to medical school. Now, are there going to be concerns? Probably, right? Do you just like being a student is always the question that comes up. Are you just a career student? Do you like the classroom and learning and that camaraderie and community around the classroom? That's always a concern. And really, at the end of the day, it's all about telling your story. What is it that brought you to where you are now? And why is it that you want to drop everything and go to medical school? Why is it that after you finish your DPT, you're like, nope, I need some more debt. I'm good, thanks. Give it to me. Give me some more debt. You need to be able to, number one, write about it in your personal statement, and number two, talk about it in your interviews if you can get to that point. So you really need to make sure that your story is as solid as it can be. And that's what I do with students, right? That's the majority of students I work with are non-traditional students who are trying to explain why they have gone the path that they've gone, why they're changing careers, why they're doing whatever they're doing. That's what I do with students. That's what any admissions committee or any admissions consultant will do with you, hopefully a good one. And so you just need to be able to tell your story of why did you go be a physical therapist? And now, why do you want to be a physician? Not necessarily why don't you want to be a physical therapist, but why is it that you want to be a physician at this point? I wouldn't consider the previous two things as quote-unquote careers. from undergrad mechanical engineering. Undergrad is undergrad, and I think our education system is screwed up to make students choose what they want to do so early in life. So I wouldn't consider that any sort of career path. And then the infantry officer is a great service to the country. And so again, I wouldn't consider that a career choice. I think you just needed some exploration and you got it. And when you finally decided on what you wanted to do, you went to PT school. And maybe that algorithm is, I think I wanted to be a doctor, but just didn't think I could. And so I settled on PT school thinking it would make me happy, but it hasn't. And here's why I want to be a doctor, XYZ, right? Just telling that story, showing the admissions committee why it is that you want to do this. And you do that in your personal statement. You do that in your extracurricular activities. You do that in your secondary essays. And you do that in your interview. Your story has to really focus on why it is you want to do this and make it clear to whoever you're writing to or talking to that, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have gone to PT school. And honestly, depending on where you're in school right now, you're halfway through, I honestly wouldn't waste the tuition, right? That's a lot more years and a lot of tuition that you're wasting on something that you don't want or need. So I would really, really, really consider just dropping out of PT school. And to me, that makes it more obvious. Like, you dropped out of PT school, and if you can prove to me that your grades were good and you didn't drop out because you couldn't handle it, then it makes it even more clear that, yeah, like you had this epiphany and you said, nope, I need to go to med school. I don't think there's any pride in finishing DPT school to go, hey, look, like I finished what I started. Okay, you finished something you didn't want to do. Why would you do that? And rack up more debt, double what you already have. Unless you're independently wealthy and paying everything with cash, great, go ahead, right? If it's not going to hinder your ability to study for the MCAT, hinder your ability to finish any prereqs that you may need, hinder your ability to get all the clinical experience and shadowing and everything else that you need. There are a lot of things that you need to get ready to apply to medical school. So I would really seriously consider just dropping out of PT school so you can focus on everything that you need to focus on to go to medical school, to put forward the best application possible for medical school. So good luck to you. I hope that was a helpful explanation or answer for you. If you listening have a question that you want answered here on the podcast, go to premedforums.com, click on the non-traditional pre-med forum, register for an account if you don't already have one, and ask your question. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time here on the Old Pre-Meds podcast.